Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to Donkeys and Demos Gear Garage. You're here with the kid, Jeremy Vareo. This is episode 3, and today we are talking to Francisco Cresp, co-founder of Neural DSP. This guy, right here. Stick around. All right, Francisco. First, I got to say thank you so much for doing this. I know it's like 2 o'clock in the morning your time, and I know we've been trying to get this coordinated 3:30. That's commitment, and I absolutely appreciate it, and I know the folks watching appreciate it. So, how are you doing, man? How are you doing through all of this COVID and all this stuff that's going on?
All good, man. Thank you for inviting me. It's okay. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, it was a little bit hard for us, but of course, we just went. Everybody went home. We sent everybody home, and like we just took a bunch of taxis and everybody with their IMAX in plastic bags and like go home basically. So yeah, we stayed working from home like since March, like mid-March maybe, 15th of March I think it was the day that we kind of went home, and we came back to the office this Monday. So yeah, it was a long period of time that we were working from home, and it was actually very productive. Like everybody said that it was very nice to work from home, and that they were like being more efficient, and that they could like wake up like just an hour ago and spend like a nice morning at home before starting to work. And programmers like to anyway be at home, so it's sure. They just need their computers, and that's fine. But at the end of the period, maybe the last weeks, it got a little bit hard for everyone, and now people kind of like, we have discussed now in the office, like, yeah, in the beginning was fine, we thought it was like kind of better, but then at the end, like moving between your computer, the kitchen, the balcony, and coming back there, and then the couch, it's like it gets a little bit irritating after after a couple of months. But things went back to normal here in Finland last Monday. So basically everything opened up, and the restaurants and bars are open. So everybody went back to work. So it's been much better. Summer started, so it's good.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. And everybody stayed healthy, all of that. No concerns that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like we took the necessary measures of like according to all the government indications. So nobody got sick, and we did the best we could, so it's all fine.
That's great. So how big a team is it over at Neural? How many guys do you guys have working all the plugins and hardware and all that?
Yeah, it's funny because like I've been in I've been in podcasts before, and I've been asked this question before, and it's funny that before we couldn't really reveal that we were working on hardware, so we were always like kind of like cutting the number by half.
Yeah.
But now I can actually tell you the truth.
The secret's out.
Yeah. I think that we are like around. I think we're around 45 people now.
Wow.
Maybe we're reaching 50. So yeah, it's quite a big team now. It kind of scaled up quite fast.
Wow, that's amazing. I don't know why. I did not expect the team to be that large, but that's awesome. So how is that split up? I mean, when it comes down to, I mean, obviously you got your business side of it, you've got your dev side of it. How many guys do you have that are focused on creating the plugins themselves, between, the design of the plugins, the interface, the GUI, as opposed to the guys doing the programming?
Yeah, I think that, well, let's say that if we round it up to 50, I think that like maybe around 15 people are like between marketing team and accounting, of course, and user acquisition and this kind of stuff. But maybe like then the 40 or like 35 remaining, kind of like half goes to plugin side, and then the other half goes to hardware side. So there's a lot of engineers that are working on the embedded system, and there's a lot of like the other half is kind of working on like mostly in-house on the plugins. So yeah, it's kind of half there after we take out the marketing team and the others guys. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So
And the designer is
oh,
sorry, like,
go ahead.
so to answer your question completely, like the designers are the designers are like there's like two people that we work with, and they kind of like do all rounders. They kind of work in plugins and embedded. We all collaborate in the end. So yeah.
Wow, only two designers. That's great. And one of the reasons I ask about design, I'm a designer by trade, so one of the things that really impresses me about the plugins that you guys have is just the overall interface, the design and aesthetic of it, the recreation of the amps themselves, the cabinets, the stuff in the plugin. They just look really, really nice. So I think that attention to detail is something that I appreciate very much. Not only do they sound great, but they look fantastic. Oh, the kid's kid coming with manna from heaven. My son's delivering me coffee. Thank you.
Nice.
But yeah, awesome. It's the GUI and the interface that I really, really love, and I think you guys do a phenomenal job on top of the already great sounding plugins.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm mostly like all the time working together with the designers to get the best user experience. But of course, like the ones that design basically the visual feedback and make all the aesthetic choice. And we are very lucky to work with Franco. Maybe you met him at NAMM, but he is also the industrial designer for Darkglass, and like he does very beautiful pedals for them, and he has very good taste. So usually everything that comes out of him really genius. Then we have one other guy that also works as for Cortex, and he's also very, very, very good. So we're very lucky to have really good people working. That's basically the secret, to have really passionate and talented people working with us. That's kind of the key.
Gotcha. So the first plugin that you guys made, was that the Dark?
Yeah, yeah, indeed.
So what was it that made you guys want to get into, was it our plan to bringing amp models and leading to the hardware? Was it something that you guys had planned out, or was it kind of the Darkglass did really well, so let's see what's next?
Maybe, like I was with Doug on DAS for a couple of years already, and then like I kind of like mentioned to him that like if we didn't do, like we are very good friends, so it's kind of like if we don't do the Darkglass like pedals on full format, somebody else is gonna do it. It's like, yeah, you're right, and then like what would you suggest? And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna move things forward, like I'm just gonna do something. So I hired a programmer, and then I had like taking my laptop to the office, and I just like putting a draft together with one developer. And then when I had something enough like ready, I showed it to Doug, and Doug already thinking about like this hardware system that would do, and then basically kind of follow both paths, and then we joined forces and created this massive thing. So kind of start both at the same time. So it's actually very fun. He was already like thinking really, really hard into his dream hardware. So he has been in hardware for a while already with Darkglass, and I'm a music producer, so I kind of like go through the plugins. I know the plugins much better, so we kind of like connected there and joined forces. But it started since the hardware in the picture and the plugins too. So it's all together.
Very cool. So what was first the amp plugin? Was it Nolly or Aussie?
The first one was the Nameless.
Oh no, so that was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. I think that was 2 years ago, or it's been really short time, but it feels really long. Like it feels like we have done so many things in just years. It's a little bit insane. But yeah, it was 2 years ago that we released the next something.
So how did that come about? And now I remember when that was released, that's how I found out about you guys. And we had it at NAMM, and you and Gus, and you guys had the actual amp set up and the plugin set up, and we were going back and switching between the two, and just hear a comparison of the amp compared to the plugin, and really could not tell the difference. But how did that part of Fortin come about?
think that was uh, like I'm sure Doug better more accurate story, but basically Doug contacted Mike. Doug is very like he has a company before, of course, like Dark Class, and he's like well connected, and he kind of like contacted Mike, and Mike trusts. Like I was also involved, and just Mike really trusted. That's something to always be for. Like he trusted to do a job, and it turned out to be fantastic. So we gave our best, but it was nice from him to trust with that product, and yeah, turned out to be really good. Still really happy with that model.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And it's very responsive. The neural stuff in general, and I know you hear this all the time, but it feels very amp. It is. You guys definitely have something going on with the plugins. I mean, just the feel, the tone, they track really well, and they're just fun to play. I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about what you guys are doing. And again, when we met at NAMM, that back and forth was just it was kind of mind blowing. I had not experienced that same satisfaction using when I was a Kemper guy. Not to knock the Kemper, was great and I loved it. But it was really surprising. If you go back and see the video, I mean, I have a poker face, so you can just tell I was totally blown over by it.
Yeah, cool setup actually. Like we actually have our own design reactive load box, so we would have to chat to NAMM, but we could do it again. The only reason that we didn't this year that like we thought that the volume and the noise in NAMM it's so irritating that like people can't really hear through the speakers and very accurate, so it's complicated. But it's unfortunate because like it's just so loud. It's unfortunate because we would love to get a more quiet space so we could enjoy the response a little bit better. But yeah, I mean it was actually really funny to do that A/B test. But yeah, the Nameless is it was our first product and it did really well. I actually did that myself, like alone mostly. So it was a very step that we took from doing a bass distortion pedal to jump into the guitar amplifier modeling. There's a lot of competition there, and we really wanted to do the best possible ever, and we spent a lot of time on research, and like we kind of like nailed it very well, and we continued that path, and here we are now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And talk about a great brand to partner with, right? I mean, Fortin in and of himself, he's got a very, very loyal fan base, a very big following.
Yeah, he's a legend, man. Fortin is a fucking so.
Yeah, and when it comes to just heavy tones, the guy, he like you said, he's guy's a legend. But also, that Meshuggah amp or the Nameless plugin, it's just a great Marshall sim. I mean, it is not just for super brutal, heavy tones. I mean, you get classic rock tones, pop tones, just all over the place with tones that, very, very versatile.
Yeah, like it has this low input you can go through, and you just one gain, so it simplifies a little bit the flow of it. And it doesn't have this like low cat with the control, but it's a really versatile amp if you dig into it. It looks simple, but if you go through the low input, it's way more to the classic Marshall tone, and it can do very well with those. It's just like some people don't take the time to explore the amp a bit further, but it's really versatile. I really like that amp. It really has the characteristic of a Marshall, like really hot rod Marshall, and it can be really aggressive with all the bright the gain staging is really smart in that amp, that it sounds really brutal if you crank the gain up. It's really nice.
Yeah. So how long does it take for something like the Nameless? If you're able to say, how long does it take to bring one of those things from idea to get it out and released?
Well, in the beginning there was a lot of research because like the first time we did something like this, so it took long. I don't know, maybe I think it took like 6 months or a little bit longer to kind of get something that sounded fine. but now it doesn't take that long because like now we have like different, you know, different topologies of power amps and like different types of power amps of like on code that we can use, like different types that we can use for certain amps. And we like also the machine learning team that we have, like, really powerful. So we also have like a neural network engine that can do these things. So it's like really, really cool that we can fast a lot on the level before. It's just like, of course, in the beginning, it takes longer to do the research, but it's solid, so we can put together much faster.
Gotcha. So when it came to important stuff, did you guys know work on the nameless? Was there a roadmap to do the multiple amps, like bringing the NTS and the Cali? Like, was that just kind of, you knew they were coming, or did the names do so well that just kind of made sense between the two of you guys to continue on?
Yeah, the nameless did so well. Well, they were on the road. I mean, the product didn't really come out as we planned it in the beginning, but we kind of like overcome the problem and like we went through it, and it did really well anyway. So we were really happy about that because the sound was there, so it didn't matter that much about the marketing strategy or like everything else that kind of fell apart. So it's fine. And it's so well that basically 14 gave us the chance to continue working with him, and then we did the NTS, and then we did the Kali, and the relationship is very good between us. So like, just that more 14 bucks come down the line. At the moment, there's no plan. Like, there's for sure something is coming.
So don't ask about the sigil or the evil pumpkin.
Well, there's nothing like planned at the moment,
Sure.
but like it just takes us to, you know, get together with Mike, bounce a couple of ideas back and forth, and off we go with the new 14 stuff. We're very good with Mike, and he's a wonderful guy. It's all good. Probably it's gonna happen. It's just all of our contract agreements that we have that we have to, of course.
Oh, lose you?
No.
Oh, sorry, it was getting a little lag. So you guys added, was it the hex drive? Something was added post-launch. I think it was one of the drive pedals in the Fortin suites. Is there plans to add, say, the fuzz or the bleed? Oh, you know what? Did I lose Fran? Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, for some reason I'm not getting your audio. Oh boy. See if we can get him back. The fun with doing live.
What about now?
Hey.
Right.
Ah, the voice of an angel back, back with us.
Live?
Yeah, that's okay. Exactly.
Okay, fine. Okay.
So,
yeah, was that. Yeah, with that we don't really do, like, example, different version on that series because, like if the band doesn't really represent the brand of those products in the plug, you know. But with things like we have custom in the blade we have to talk to Chapel guy if we want to do something like that. But at the kind of being our repertories and the way they work with it. So like I apologize everybody that wants to say we really understand. We just want to really kind of like them just tuner or for a new little thing. So there's things that reach out and it takes a lot of time. if basically of the software works, there's a very big risk that enough do more than good. So like really cautious with that. But basically there's a chance we improve products like adding store or for example to the Ford. It would an issue mobile or if an issue in the open side on stable and like and on the that they are current users. That's basically.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, if it's working, you don't want to start doing things that get in the way of being productive. It really makes sense. So on the bright side of things, like the Abasi, the guys, there are modulation effect and reverb things, correct?
Yeah.
So how does partners come out? How do you guys start working with Tosin?
Yeah, with Tosin was funny because it's mostly that goes like and he has a lot of contacts. So I think talk to them also with me like kind of happened the discussing with Clarity to doing it, and I don't know, man, everything happened just so it's really insane how fast things have been. But yeah, like even like Tosin's partner and we got in touch with Tosin, and we work with other people that are friends with Tosin. They train quite well, so yeah, it kind of escalated quite quickly. To be honest, I don't know what to say. No,
that's great. So as far as this plugin is the Omega amp work, right?
Use this the Kali, the fire, yeah.
And so that identifier guys work with Earthquaker devices. Is that right? Get the plumes. Add that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, we ask permission and also ask permission if like and if they want to participate with on the and they send us over the scripts and we talk about it and they're nice people. We have known them all the time, so really nice. So we in the and they like Omega wanted to work with them and they wanted to work too. So like everybody was happy to do the partnership. It was
That's awesome. Yeah, and I remember trying the Identifier plugin. It's kind of debate over AM, and there were some things that are still being worked out. But everywhere I went, the two things people were talking about was the Quicks and then also the Identifier plugin. So there's a lot of ever since. So I said the Identifier plugin is well for you.
It's like a heater. We didn't know what to expect because of course like the guys are all on Omega. We're starting with band or we're starting then, and I really so we did our recreate amp. It's really beautiful design. The circuit is also well designed, beautiful, and really know what to get people like. It was something that it a certain amount of cost, but really since the sound is there and it's fantastic, kind of people shot and they reacted it, and I'm sure that is also really the result.
Yeah, to do that. He was on last week, and I know he seems to be very, very happy with how it came out. And the things that he mentioned, and I've heard from other that have released models through various forms, is that the model done well, it creates this desire to actually own the thing, right? So not do people buy the machine or the caddy or the fire. Getting a feel for that helps with sales, physical piece as well, right? That's a great boom for those ones.
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, like up to the ounce that we have to be but yeah, I agree with it. It's like official. It's still a product of different ways. Official partnerships with manufacturers, so it kind of feels like a tension that same heart. So then after that, the real thing, it's cool. Like the format is the same thing, and you can watch the sounds. It's not you're getting together, but you're for your own pleasure, or what I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that kind of leads me to let's maybe hop on the Quad Cortex for a bit.
Yeah, sure.
So people were able to get hands on AM. Seems to still be a lot of great buzz around it. Folks are still very excited for the hardware to come out. I know it's been stated, but should you have a license of the Pliny, the Identifier, at some point after the release of the Quad Cortex, we'll be able to add those models to your Quad Cortex, correct?
Yeah. So basically, we're working on like that you log in with your Neural DSP account on the Cortex, and that account be able to see purchase from right. Be able to basically block, or like let's say on the amp list, you will see locked the Kali, for example, which is the license. Because the unit has Wi-Fi, so you can connect and then log into your Neural DSP account, and then the hardware communicates with the cloud and all stuff. So It's complexes that we're still working on, but there's good chances that that's going to happen for the release. If it doesn't have the release, it's going to have like months later, and but it's definitely going to happen. I mean, we really want to allow the users to the Cortex system to just like as a platform for products that they already purchased. So that's kind of the whole point. Like you can go to Studio, use plugins, and then go use the Cortex, and then this kind of flow. It's really aimed for.
So yeah, very seamless your experience depending on where the need at the time.
Yeah, that's basically what we do, and of course, if you purchase some like if it's a product in the same family, it kind of like makes perfect sense that the users are allowed to use the same product in a different platform, right? Just that not so it does things code doesn't really translate exact from computer or to embedded system process same. So a lot of them adapt things to work with text, and the result it allows time to port everything. A lot of engineers working on that system.
So, Capture is something that you guys are still developing. Do you feel it's one way? How can you explain the capture process? How similar is it to other things out there? How different is what are you doing differently? In your opinion, is really making sure that they're capturing are translating well.
Yeah, actually, the answer is one is an implementing text that products and just standingly well. So we're like the leader of our machine learning team has been with us since the beginning, and he has been on that way of modeling since also the beginning of times. So that's also one remark from Douglas that he hired people because since the very beginning taking risks. So yeah, it's like that's implemented, and basically what we're doing now, it's like trying to reduce takes to an amp, but you can also connect to an amp and modulate and play through the Cortex. That already works, but we're working on the capture. The captures needs a little work. It's not nothing much, but it needs to be done. Haven't tested yet. It might be done. And yeah, we added a new output jack because we didn't want to that you could create a loop on your audio, so like your ear connects out to the amp and then go back in. So there is a chance that you're using the same inputs and outputs for your preset. So if all of a sudden quit the capture like menu and then those inputs and outputs become active, then you're running like your signal out through your amplifier, which does like a low gain, and then you're running into which might have more gain, and then all you know is one click away you'll explode, and that's something we don't want to do. So we added one dedicated jack, so that jack is designated capture output and nothing else, so it avoids this stuff, and you have like your rig connected at all times without purpose.
Gotcha. So Tim at Live Ready Sound says, looking forward to the possibility of bringing third parties in if and that happens. So Tim's a guy who makes files and pulse responses. So I don't know, plan to open up the opportunity for third-party producers to be involved with what you guys are doing.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Yep. We go. Yeah, we're getting some comments that things are a bit laggy.
Really?
Yeah. Let's. The fun of live. Oh, does that?
Well, I hear you the same. I don't know. Maybe the users
Yeah, I think on the stream
they're not hearing.
Some Venus. Well, they'll
Okay.
chime in. Let's keep going. Where were we?
You were asking a question about the
third-party
captures, users, and yeah, that's the last thing.
Okay. So it sounded like there was going to be an opportunity for that.
Yeah, by all means, just want to do something like really. We just have really, really cool plans, but it takes time to do them. And we want to have like let the users most seamless experience possible to share presets and captures and save their own files and everything in the cloud, and up their system with their phones and try these things that are like annoying on other systems, like take that thing out of the way and don't put any barriers between users. And that's kind of
Gotcha. Mr. Key, I didn't get the effect model part. They planned to release fuzz and others, also effects too on the plugins. So no. So on the plugins, if it is something that is branded like the Nameless or the NTS, if it's something that is not part of the Fortin line, likely would not get added to the those plugins. But if it's they are things added to the lead or other pedals, it is not planned as of yet.
Yeah, basically, like to continue that to do an update of was not so simple because things evolve through time, and then like going back to the same code, things have changed much, like 6 months after the release or whatever I was released back then, and we really need to ensure that work fine and things in the code have changed so much that it's difficult to make them compatible again, and it requires a lot of work. So there's a lot of effort that needs to put behind doing an update, and yeah, that we just don't want to release anything that can interfere with the user experience or with yours, or change the sound or anything like that. That's a risk that we don't want to take, and we work really hard to with that. So it takes time. It actually takes more than doing a product. It's funny, but it actually does sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not just in these kind of plugins. It's one of those things where you start to add things, it's hard to see where problems are getting caused, downstream. Right? So it's definitely a lot of sense that you want to get in a situation where you take something that's working really, really well, and you want to add anything to it, but then all of a sudden, now stuff is not working. Let's see, someone's asking, release date for the mobile preset for Quad Cortex, will it come up on the same release date? The mobile preset for Quad Cortex, will it happen at release?
That we're working on. I think that he refers to the mobile app, so you can talking to you about that, share your preset, the community, and that. Working on it, things have been difficult. Like things have been really difficult because there's a lot of third-party companies that work with that also work with Corona. So there's some things that are like a little bit behind schedule, but we're doing things positive in the product. It doesn't have exactly on relate. It's going within a period of months. So it's going to happen sooner or later. We really hope to have it on time, but unfortunately, there's some things that don't depend on there's no control as to do it there. So, but with the mobile thing, it's a little bit behind schedule, but I'm sure I'm doing a lot to do it on.
Very cool. So when it comes to, have you guys added any models outside of was list launch to the Cortex, or is it the launch list that was posted on the website? Or those the ones you're still planning on rolling out with?
Yeah, those are the plans that those are the amps that we're still planning to roll out. But I said before, like the development is like much quicker nowadays. So we if everything goes fine and there's nothing like when all the things are out of the way, we typically really amp a week or something. So it's not a problem to add more devices to the Cortex, especially if the software is solid. We can deliver results to theirs like adult. But we expand the library for a while, so that's no need to worry on that side. But we will definitely do way more amps than we put in the list.
Sure, and amp models done well, more is not always right. Shoving a whole bunch of amp models in there just to have a huge array doesn't necessarily mean they're all great. Sometimes more is overkill, right? Spend time making making it a really, really nice model.
That's correct. Like basically the more options you have, it's the more time you need to explore all those sounds, and then you forget where you're meaning. It happens with like one of the main reasons that, for example, I kind of like include a way of moving the mic around and like having this system that you can like move the mic and choose your sound just with the mouse. There was some of the experience of like scrolling through IRs that I just didn't like, that like all of a sudden I'm in like IR number 7. I don't remember anymore what was the one, like was it 3 or 4? I have to go back, and it's like, I don't know, the experience was like right for me. And like, this system actually includes even more IRs inside. The experience is so much better. Like, you can go back and hear right how the sounds change, and you have a better big picture as it is in the real world. Like, I mean, you move the mic and you get a result, and then you kind of like put it there where you get, and that's it. You know, it's the difference is just
much similar to what you guys do in the plugin, correct? Right. So you have the mics, you're able to move them real time. You hear the effect of what's happening. You can just get back to
yeah, correct. What I was like to basically, I went back to the plugin. Sorry, I'm so tired. It's like 4 a.m. here, so forgive me if I'm going in in a loop at points. So.
No, really fine. So, okay to ask. So, Miko, as far as the cab portion of the plugins, right? You guys work with Miko on those, or is he has a handheld?
Yeah, we basically work with a lot of people on the IRs. Like Miko was in the beginning. He's based in Finland, so we kind of like contacted him first, and we worked together for the first products. But we were working a lot with Node also now. It's like I really like IRs. Like since his product, we kind of been working with him. In my opinion, his IRs are outstanding. So I kind of like wanted to go with him in that sense.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, like we also Yoke for some IRs in the Kali too. So it's like there's a lot of people that collaborate with us in the IR world. So definitely it's gonna have taste and options for everyone in the IR world. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, Yoke he gives great hugs. Also, I don't know if you know this, but he does.
Sorry.
I said Yoke gives great hugs.
I
don't know if you've ever hugged by him. But he gives wonderful hugs.
Yeah, many times.
So the cabs that are in the plugin, right? So you have the Kali plugin. That cab will also be able to be imported into the Quad.
Yeah, and you will be able to also use the same type of microphone interpolation system that we have in the plugin. So you will also be able to move the mic around. But yeah, we will. There would be plugins would try it so that the pedal section is in the overlay, so you would see them like not grayed out if you have the license, and you can change them. You can change the order, and a little bit more flexible than the experience, but it's different. Like you don't get the visual of the beautiful frank graphic line that from the from the plugin that I really like. Also, like it's like you don't get that experience with Cortex. But you get more flexibility on the hand that it's it's something you'll need. So you're able to the pedal amps.
Oh, it's great. And for me, there'll be times if I'm not using a Neural plugin for an model, I still run an instance for the grind or for the extra right on top of another plugin. So what I think is very exciting, what you guys are doing, especially when Quad Cortex comes out, is say you're running because like guys, they will just use this for right. So say you're running core cable method, now you have access to the pedals if you've got the lenses. So you could run the booms in front of your, you run the behind or head front ramp. So I think that adds a great level of flexibility to an animal.
That's the whole thing. And for example, something that we also want to do is like you will be able to load your captures into blocks. So then you can add, for example, the grind or the 33 pedal or the hex drive or the like front of a capture that you did from your own amp. And then like load the networks after what talk got the moment. So it's a really powerful thing. You can do combine these things like and converters and with the algorithms that we will. So that's actually really
that's great. A question around SPDIF. Is there a reason SPDIF was included in the hardware, and is there a chance that will ever see its way to the unit?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We fit everything to fit. It's like there's compromise between the size and the amount of feet that we can include, right? So that unfortunately that's sacrifice for the moment. You will put audio USB, but I understand that people like the output. But unfortunately for this revision, it's not going to be possible. Maybe if we do a second run in the future, I don't know, but it is. But unfortunately,
sure, that's and to be honest, I know a lot of folks like the idea of the digital connection. I generally tend to prefer not so I've had it. I've voted on some hardware units that I've had that I get a weird frequency thing that happens when I'm playing leads, especially if I'm doing Benz or Harmonic, that there's something like that will pop in and out that only goes away when I disconnect bit of connection and go back to and go to XR to my case. So I don't know, just an observation I've had. So
That's
me,
funny.
go ahead.
That's fine. That shouldn't happen. That happened. But I mean, I believe you. It's just a shame we concluded. I understand that people like lost connection, or you don't need to convert ADD all the time. It's understandable and but there's no space in the unit to do anything else.
Sure. No, at the end of the day, bring a product out, you want to make sure you're bringing out something that soup to nuts is going to deliver the experience you want, right? It's going to sacrifice something, right? You maybe all people, but it'd be pretty damn good and be damn versatile, even still.
Correct.
So you mentioned earlier you have load box that you designed. Is that right?
Yeah, we have our own reactive box design we use to monitor all the amps, and it cleans off like the thing that like the load that we think is the best. So it kind of simulates like a 4x12 cat, and it's low that reacts really well to the amps, 120 watt low, so it can 5150 cranked up. We blast time to compare all the combinations of the knob, master, volume, power amp session, and kind of, so they need to be very sturdy to hold for a while. Yeah, we're on this, like, it was just better that so we could like see like we kind of trust designs. It's better that when Bartek build one if like any time we don't wait for shipping this kind of, so it's just very convenient for us to have our own design.
So is there any chance any chance we'll see a release of a Neural load box?
Yeah, like but we could. I mean, we found the manufacturing of it and everything going on. We could.
What seems to be over the last couple of years, I mean, they seem to be a product people are into. I don't know. I think you guys, if you want a Neural load box, I think you guys need to blow them up and know you're interested. I'd definitely be interested to check it out. Another question. Let me read this. Sorry, I'm blind as a bat. My advanced age, I don't see. Will there later be released a looper on the Quad Cortex? What about multi-track looper? Gotcha. Okay, so sounds like your audio is dropping out, so I'm just going to tell everyone what you said. Let me see, what is going on here? Yeah, like there's no, I've got no audio coming from you. Let's see. Yeah, it's me that it's, oh. Yep. Let's see. Now it's, what is going on? This is weird. Still no audio. Yeah, anyone? They hear you, and you can hear me, I hear you. People on the stream. Mr. Kiami, any audio from Go? Here, but they're not here. We are coming up on time.
Sure, let's try again.
God love technology. Let's try again. Ah, of course he did. I just hung up. Oh, let me call him back. I don't know. This is my first international stream, so hopefully it'll be worth when he gets back on. There we go. All right, Mr. Kiami, do you hear Francis?
Jeremy, can you hear me?
Oh, I never stopped hearing you.
Here you are.
Yep.
Okay, hear you.
They can. Yep. Here we go.
Okay. It's weird. Okay.
Yeah, weird. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi thing or the time zone is to catch up. Anyway, sorry, I don't know if you can go back over quickly the loop question.
Yeah, sure. The thing is that there's a lot of little things have been like we had to put a lot of things in the Cortex to make it on time because there's been a lot of challenges, as everybody understands. So if it does come out out of release, it's gonna come in like the following ones. But the thing is that like the good thing that we have with the Cortex is that you can you can identify, so you can share your hotspot internet from your phone and on the hardware, and like in 10 minutes you have all the new features that we released. So like we intend to make the hardware better, and there's gonna be of course some issues that we will have to address anyway, and things like this happen. So it's probably be the way. Fortunately, the looper is something that at the moment is like last on our priority list, but like one of the last things that we need to, but we will try to make a release by all means.
Awesome, thanks for sharing that. The most important is Quad Cortex is on time. Looper can come later. Well, one thing that we can ensure is they are diligently working to make sure this thing gets out such a way that the user experience is going to live up to what the expectation is, right? So I for one don't want anything to get rushed.
There's we made a promise and we want to fulfill that promise, and we want to make the hardware through, and we have the capability, as I said, to make things on via Wi-Fi, very convenient. You don't take your unit to your computer, so you can basically update it at any time. So that's something that our favor is, that just can also us on making it better, right? Yeah, we want to continue working after the release, and we just don't want to delay people of the basic features of the unit running and great in the release, and then we can always like improve it later and add features that people request.
So question, the Quad Cortex editor will be released at this time as the computer editor, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So let me ask you this.
That's on.
There are a couple of neural groups on Facebook, right? So there's,
yeah.
How much does that help you guys with understanding kind of demand or what people would like to see? Has that influenced anything that's been happening with the are you guys able to kind of glean things out of there that are helpful, or how involved in figuring through all that are you?
Just like I try to avoid it as much as possible. Like there's so much to do, and it's very distracting sometimes, like on social media, too much time and reading everything. It kind of distracts from the main path of what we have to do. So of course I really appreciate like all the fact, and there's like really good feedback from many youth, of course, but there's also like a lot of like distracting conversation that it doesn't really help much. But there's both ways, in the internet you kind of get everything. I'm not part of all the neural groups, not like I can't talk for everything, but like definitely get good feedback from the users, and like when it's so we kind of like move to development really quickly. For example, Neural DSP, I really know the 1 and 2 Neri Noli plugin that I really know, and as I said before, it's like really hard to make of something that works very stable and like not sacrifice stability and compromise any usability. You just add a tuner, which I understand that people need, and that's very fair. But yeah, on the feedback side of things, I mean, we get good feedback from users. There's always like the whole social media and the internet can be very distracting on achieving our goals, basically. So that's what I kind of want to transmit. That I'm out of all the group you're mentioning. I'm not real all times anymore. Like maybe before I had like a little bit more time to participate, but now it's been really busy and really crazy, to be honest, too. So we can do what we missed on time.
So what you're saying, you're doing your day job.
Yeah,
Right.
basically, yeah. And like we have people now that are like monitoring the once in a while we jump in and read what's useful, and we take it. We always do what people want to say. So hope that like customers are the ones that use the products really have the best, what's bad. They need to take into consideration at all times.
Someone has asked regarding like your amps and effects. Will there be a platform to upload and download? I'm guessing maybe like the Kemper Rigmaker or Exchange, with like a global community for sharing presets and those types of things.
Yeah, part of the thing I mentioned before that we want to do like ecosystem and like that you can upload the presets from the Cortex to the cloud, and then you can share everything from your phone. So you like, let's say that you're in the unit, and then you want to upload your you upload your preset backup set list to like the cloud, your cloud account, and then you go from your mobile phone and you send it to a friend, or you send it to, you put it public so people can go to your profile and get your presets and get your captures. Kind of the idea. As I said, we're really working towards that, but we just need to first get the unit solid and then like build everything around it. But there's been a team working on the preset sharing and the cloud system also for year and a half already. So we have had a little bit of like a couple of hiccups and bumps on, but that's how things go.
Gotcha. So as far as, I mean, you guys have a pretty solid library of amp sims for guitar. Has there been any talk of doing any other bass products?
Bass, not really. I mean, we will do a library of bass amps for the Cortex.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. But basically, when we designed the Parallax with Douglas, we kind of like said like, okay, I don't know what else we actually do.
Sure,
so sure. We kind of like on a personal level, we kind of ran out of. We can't think that the parallel everything. Of course, it's not, and I understand that people maybe are looking for different sounds. But we have discussed, for example, to expand the capabilities with different engines inside. So like maybe release like a different Parallax that has like different tastes of distortion under the same usability. And maybe like a cleaner one and maybe like a more fuzzy one and like this kind of approach, but we don't have anything on the plans at the moment.
Gotcha. So Fernando G. De Luna is asking, will there be mic preamp mod available, like say something like a Neve in the Quad Cortex?
Right. We want to do also the Cortex like a vocalizing unit, so I'm not sure if it's going to be for, but we can definitely do that. It's not a problem, and actually with the technology we have now, we might be able to do amps like video really quick. It could be this that we get them also for really. So wow. There is, yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. So I mean, if you just add a 1076 on your signaling for a record.
Yeah.
Someone else is asking. Sorry, I'm just going to the questions. That's why it looks like I'm staring off into space.
No, man, take your time. It's all good.
Will you concentrate more on the rock, pop, blues genres? So you guys actually have a really versatile range of amp models going into the Cortex. So I guess I'm not sure if the question is for plugins or if it's for Quad Cortex, but I have not had any issue getting classic rock or blues type tones on any of the plugins.
Yeah, like basically the like Pliny's the first and second amp, like the clean amp, if you drive it at like quite if you crank the gain and the master a little bit and put a booster or something, it should be like well covered. And with an amp, definitely. With Nolly the same, like the clean amp can be up to break up tones, and the second amp is like a very traditional British design that has been used for classic rock tones forever. So it's kind of like you should be kind of covered with those two, but the Cortex will include even more like the really necessary stuff, and you should be definitely covered with the amps in the Cortex too. So yeah, and also like if you're looking up to like more variety of tones, like wait for the next plugin. It's gonna be fucking great. I can assure you that.
Oh. So, any hints on what that's going to be, or you cannot say? You are legally bound to not mention.
I can. No, I can say that we will expand the sonic capabilities of our catalog. So that's. I think that we go back to the question of like listening what users really want. So
sure.
Maybe like getting the catalog a little bit more round and not so much into like heavy tones. You know, even though we love heavy, like we also like all rounded. So I think that we're gonna expand a little bit more the sonic capabilities of our catalog, making it more, versatile.
Very cool. That's exciting for sure.
That's thing that people don't see it coming. It's gonna be a cool like turnaround of what we have been doing so far. So yeah.
Awesome. So any speculation on when that's going to be released or when that's going to hit?
Yeah, we might have the first prototype. Well, we wanted to have the first prototype yesterday. It's Saturday 4:48 a.m. So yesterday. But we probably will have it today. The guys are going to work to the office in a couple of hours again, working weekends and basically not non-stop. But we probably have a first prototype today, and if that goes well, we might have a better version the next week.
Okay.
And it might be still released this month. I really hope that we can hit the goal of releasing it this month. That would be fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, I'm super excited. So George Flegas, hope I didn't butcher your last name, asks, would you say the neural capture feature will be up to par with the Kemper, and will we get a sneak peek on it?
I mean, wouldn't the feature if we wouldn't believe we are the best at it. It's just that simple. I know it sounds douchey and all, but we don't release anything that we are not 100% confident that it's best at, and the feature is included in that statement.
Yeah. And, why would you come on? Oh, it's not going to be as good. That would never be the answer. No, but I think you guys.
But an honest answer. I mean, we like took it to a studio here in Finland. We took the prototype on software version to a studio here in Finland, like many amps, and we took a bunch of amps with us. And I called a very good friend, Matias Kupiainen, guitar player of Stratovarius, very good friend of mine, and like we took him as assistant to the studio, and we built all this setup. Like we actually rigged many amps through a cab and on the playing room and the control room, doing this like competition devices versus our capture, and it was not even close. Like our capture won every time, and in the end, the whole testing went how our capture the real head than compared to the competition was great. Like that got out of the testing moments like really fast. I mean, okay, it's clearly that we are ahead, and that's great. But how close are we to the real thing? And in the end, the next like 6 hours of the day of the we do it kind of like became that. So that'd be cool because we were cranking a Marshall like a Jubilee and like trying like very difficult stuff. And it kind of it defended itself really well. It was really surprising. So we're really happy with that.
That's awesome. And it's nice to see more competition coming to the market that has this feature, right? So. I think that makes everybody's product better, right? And it pushes everyone else that are making these types of units rethink what their current platforms are, right? So I think for you guys rolling out your first generation of hardware, to have all the features that it has, you've got your proprietary knobs that work as encoders and switches, which feel great, by the way. when I got to use it at NAMM, I was very impressed at just how robust and sturdy the controls felt. I have concerns of my heavy ass stepping on the switch and still having it work as a knob.
Yeah, it's actually a custom-made piece of stainless steel, so it should really last. It shouldn't break. Yeah, no.
So I think between that, the microphone move system the guys have in, the fact that you've got the capture mode available on it, you're really bringing a very robust piece of hardware to market at a very competitive price as well, right? You know,
that's true.
So it's very exciting piece of gear coming out.
Yeah, something else I'd like to mention is that there's a lot of work and effort put by like a solid machine learning team on like behind that stuff. Like if there's something of neural networks in our software, is that, and it's like it's really advanced technology. Like there's no, it's not like an IR response like match or thing like really simple. It's way more complicated than that, and it's like way more accurate. And I think that people will be able to tell that it's a better technology, and I really hope to show that to people soon, because like I think that of course they're skeptical of like how it's going to sound and how it's going to work, but I can promise that the technology we developed is really legit in that sense, and I'm really sure that people will be surprised by the results.
Yeah, and like I said, not ready for prime time version that I felt fantastic, and I'm definitely not a guy that would bullshit people say it's going to be amazing, if I didn't feel confident that my money was well spent, right? Because I got in on the pre-order day one. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I need it.
Thanks, man.
Sure. So, question: when do you plan to send Quad Cortex productions out to artists or YouTubers? I know when it's finished. It says in quotes, but will you guys be sending units out to do rounds?
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated because like as I said, like things have been a little bit more difficult. Whole global situation. There's a lot of things that don't depend on us, and we really want to get the product on time. But there has been absolutely no discussion on like send this to influencers at the moment, because we don't have a unit that we can send to anyone just yet. So, like all that we have, our developers have, and they're working with them. So like we don't have spare units at the moment. We're gonna build like now around 200, like the beginning of next month, and those units might be sent to some people if everything goes right. I can't really promise anything because like we're working on the everyday. It's really hard to promise anything to influencers or YouTubers at that.
Sure. And obviously, I'm very happy to offer my services. But so let's test. Can we expect a smartphone quality touchscreen? Recently tried an unnamed modeler with a touchscreen and was more frustrated with it than anything. No touchscreen, right? There's no touchscreen on the unit. Or it is touchscreen
on the Cortex. There is,
yeah.
It is a touchscreen, of course. Yes, that allows us to do many things and get away with better user experience, but. An embedded system, this one is not simple to build, and like the unit itself doesn't have a GPU, so like the graphics are handled by an ARM processor, so it's not the same as a graphic processor would handle things. So it's never going to be an iPad or response, but it should be like very it should be like fast enough to have the experience seamless and anything on the way on the response of the touchscreen. It should behave really well, and I'm really at the moment with the response. We have worked a lot with it, and it works really but it's not going to be something like smartphones have like technology on graphic very different we have built for the Cortex, so you will not have the same phones as an iPad Pro, as I said, but it's a different thing, but it shouldn't be annoying to use by any means.
I will say, and meant with great respect, I have a touchscreen display that handles up to 10 for multi-touch for mixing and for recording. And I got to be honest with you, at the end of the day, I still go to my mouse, right? When I'm recording, I've basically got a $1,000 thing that is just a second monitor.
Right.
For me, I don't know. I tend to prefer the knob approach. I tend to prefer the hardware itself. I know we are a culture of people walking around doing this with their smartphones, but and now that we talk about it, I do recall using the touchscreen at NAMM. But for me, you know, I don't know. I just it's not for me. I think I'm too old. So definitely, I prefer knobs. So we had a question for Mr. Cami. Are the foot switch silent when you step on them, or are they normal because they need to be more robust? So is it silent switching when you press the button? Nope.
Not question. Yeah, there is a sound when you press the switch. Yes.
Well, I think the question is, does it click?
Where's the question led to? We have tried different encoder and like different resistance on the springs. We're trying to get the best combination for the rotary and for the step. So it clicks. It feels good. It doesn't feel. It's not hard to. I don't know how to describe it, but there is definitely a feedback response from pressing the stomp. That's kind of the goal.
Sure. I know some of the feedback I've heard on other multi-effects units that a not clicking switch, some users have a lack of confidence that they've actually engaged it, right? So not feeling that feedback underfoot can be disconcerting, especially when gigging live. So you're saying you feel like the switches will give you that natural feel of clicking a button, but still be easy, not require a lot of pressure, a lot of effort to change.
Yeah, it should be that way. Yeah.
Cool. So you know, I think we're getting close to past time. Anything exciting, very new, very different plugin case? Anything else exciting coming from Neural?
Well, there's a lot of exciting things in the work, but basically, as I told you, most of the efforts are put in getting the Quad Cortex on time,
sure.
like and we want to deliver something that is outstanding. So it's been taking a lot of work and a lot of effort. We're really working 24/7. I'm really not joking, and it's been hard, but I'm sure we're able to deliver something fantastic, and that's basically what the efforts are. And we also are gonna have like a very ambitious plugin release roadmap, so we're able to release product also very, very soon and more often. So that's kind of what I can say.
Well, great. Listen, again, with all respect for the time of day it is for you right now, I'm sure you would love nothing more than to be in a nice comfy bed. So, hey,
Francisco, yeah, it's really necessary.
So everyone, thank you guys for tuning in. Big thanks to Francisco from Neural DSP for joining us, taking questions. Appreciate you, getting up at this, butt crack of past midnight or so. Was it 3 a.m. now?
Now it's 4:51 a.m. Almost 5.
It's terrible. All right. Well, listen, we had a couple of technical hiccups. Hopefully on playback, people will be able to watch this and everything will be just fine. If not, then we'll do it again and we'll just ask all the same questions.
We can do that. That's okay. Maybe like in a more reasonable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Next time, I will stay up late and we will get you on.
That's okay. No worries.
All right.
It's okay. It's weekend. It's all.
Great. Okay. Well, Francisco, I will let you go. Thank you so much. Hey, wish you guys continued success. Very excited to see the Quad Cortex underway and definitely looking forward to new plugin releases. You guys make sure you check out www.neuraldsp.com. Join mailing lists, follow their social media. Don't forget to subscribe to Dunkies and Demos. We're going to try to bring you a lot more of these chats with builders, and peace.
Everyone for tuning in.